Yo, what's up, everybody, man? We should be live. We should be live. What's going on? Can we keep it real podcast, man? How's everybody doing today? Pono-Gone Wild, man. What is going on in Pono-Gone? It amazes me that I think up until early this morning, parents at Pono-Gone still haven't even heard from the administration. From what I'm hearing, several parents have said we haven't even heard from the school. That kid's embarrassed to be going there right now because of all the nicknames that were given to Ponaganta, courtesy of your boy Juan over there, which that ain't right. But crazy Ponaganta again, they're in some BS, man, and come on now. If I told you that Ponaganta administration knew about this long ago, what would you say? If I told you that Ponaganta administration had to remove said teacher, you know what? We're gonna get into this in a minute. Renee Palazzo, man. That lady, she knew about this. The principal knew about this long ago. Don't let them kid you. That administration has been getting over on things, They knew all about this long ago. I'll even go a step further to say teachers have video. And it got to a point, you know what? We're going to talk about this in a minute because, you know what? As wrong as the players are in this, Ponaganta school is just as guilty, and they still have yet to notify parents as to what's going on. As of this morning, I seen parents commenting that we have yet to hear from school officials, but we are not surprised. We not surprised. But when you're looking to move out of the Ponaganta district and you want to buy a house, definitely give Home Smart Professionals a call, 401-486-6587. Definitely got to thank the people that help us make this possible. Big shout out to my man, Najee Barrows, man. Shout out to him. Najee got a lot going on. Shout out to Najee. But it's hard to believe that Ponaganta, they're not going to run from this one. School administration, they can't cover this up. Why are they claiming ignorance? Teachers actually have video of some of this situation as to what's going on. We want to talk about the North Kingstown, the rule exemption a little bit. North Kingstown exempted from a new rule that RIL put in place. We definitely have to talk about that as well. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to share this. I appreciate if you'll share it. And I'm going to put a link up there on the screen. And if you're a parent or someone you want to come up and talk about this, how you feel about this. Is there a double standard? Is it okay because it's a boy, but if it was a girl, we'd be looking to put someone under a jail? But is there a double standard? You know, um, the principal was informed, and some say the school committee even knew. And there was a situation at a school dance where um, the teacher had to be removed from the dance because she was hanging all over the student. even though the student's an adult, even though a lot of people know who the student is, it's not on me to come out and say who the student who the student is and who the student was. But I'm sure soon enough, he'll come out, speak his piece. But it's crazy that Ponagansett has not notified parents yet, and they knew about this. There's a video out there that teachers ended up taking because teachers were reporting this, but there's a video that they took at the dance where allegedly Alicia, that's her name, right? Miss Alicia was hanging all over the student. It got to a point where the teacher had to be removed, allegedly. Allegedly. And they're also saying that uh there are more, students play, that are coming forward. This is totally, totally, totally crazy. Let me get my notes up over here. Totally, totally crazy. But North Kingstown High School, man, gets a special pass, man. We'll call it the no contact rule, because of a no contact order put in place. And I guess what happened was, oh, and from what I understand, that the teacher was charged with a felony. I believe I just got a message that the teacher. Let me check this. Hang on. Let me check this. But yeah, I was just told that the gym teacher from the Ponagansett incident was just charged with a felony. Charged with a felony. What do you think about that? Should she be charged with more than one felony? Yeah, from what I understand, that charged with a felony. I was just told. But yeah, we definitely gonna get into that. I guess the NK thing. We'll have to talk about that a little later because the stuff going on here at Ponagansett is is definitely crazy, and it's at a time where the football team actually has a chance, I think, to go undefeated. This season. As much as I think Dave Cato's a tool bag, they have a chance to go undefeated this year. And now this is getting in the way. But don't think that Renee Palazzo didn't know what the said teacher allegedly was doing. They knew what was going on. The principal knew what was going on. Teachers in the school knew what was going on. Students in the school knew what was going on. It was a whole Diddy type situation going on. And her poor husband, Jeffrey Krantz, he's a phys ed teacher over, I think, at North Smithfield. What did he just get? Teacher of the year? And his wife allegedly is over here at Ponagansett. Yeah, I mean, like, totally, totally taking advantage. Because we can't. If it was switched around and if it was girls, I know a lot of people are saying high fives and stuff. Where was teachers like this when I was in school? But if it was reversed, it would be totally, totally different. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Smithfield. It's Smithfield, not not Smithfield. But I got to confirm the whole felony thing. But yeah, I believe that's what's going on. I'm not surprised. There's a new law in Rhode Island. Because I think to go with the statutory stuff, you got to have a victim and other boys. And I'll say boys because from what I hear, it was plural. But we know about one particular, student, who, some people feel was taken advantage of. And it was said that this was going on um, since the sophomore year. Since the sophomore year. You know, um, that's what NRI's saying. You know, and what's crazy is, from what I understand, that the girlfriend got a hold of a tablet. Like, I heard about this Friday, or I think Friday night, after the football game. You know, and this wasn't just a harmless interaction. You know, they knew what was going on at the school. I mean, like I said, that the gym teacher was even removed from the dance, and they couldn't even be in the same area inside the school by themselves together. So what is that? What does that tell you? I even think the school committee. I don't know about the school committee and the police, right? But I know the principal. I know the superintendent knew about this, just like what was going on, 4 years ago. And now we know that Tori's a wonderful person. I'm sure he's devastated. Some comments about the husband. Someone said lock her up. Um, Absolutely, DePietro's a fraud. Um, yeah, it's been it. This has been public. This is no surprise, no secret. A lot of people knew that this was going on, but it took somebody to come forward and be like, "Yo, look, yeah, video, got pictures." And it's like, whoa. But I mean, definitely, some wild stuff coming out of Bonagansett High School. Gym teacher resigned yesterday, having a relationship with a former student, long ongoing relationship with a former student. A female gym teacher. I mean, this kind of sounds like a plot of like a Netflix movie. Kid goes to high school, teacher ends up, coming on to him, and it was said that this lady dressed, pretty much like she's borderline going out to the club to go teach gym. We'll say she took sexual education a little too seriously. I mean, who knew that gym class was going to get so spicy, right? So apparently, right, the police were called in after a current girlfriend, find some photos and videos of her boyfriend and the gym teacher. That poor girl. I mean, flipping through the phone, like, look at this picture. Like, whoa, that ain't me. I mean, the gym teacher like knew this was coming down because, like I said, we started hearing about it a lot. That someone's actually coming forward with this information. The kid already graduated. We start hearing about this, right around the time, like Friday night, Thursday night, and that, like, so, you know, Miss Gym teacher, she knew I ain't going to school Monday. I already know. I already know what's going. I'm gonna take a mental health day, while the rest of the school is like, we get it. You need a break from the drama." I mean, seriously, the school in the district, right? They're doing their best impression of staying totally silent because as of this morning, these people over there, they have to, in the Gloucester area, they have to come to little shows like mine to find out what's going on at their kid's school. And it says the law was changed. Yes, I remember that. I think a school committee member, Lori Wycroft, spoke for that bill. And what they did is if you're in a position of authority, I believe, and that's the law that they're charging because I believe um, the age of consent comes into play, and because you have a position of authority now, the age of consent is kind of out the window, and lawmakers really didn't want to pass that type of bill, which is totally, totally crazy, But before we get back into this, in other news, I was talking earlier about a rule change on Rhode Island Interscholastic League about your homestand, and basically, it says that your players have to be on the same side as your homestand. A lot of people would, like North Kingstown, they're on the opposite side of the field. So the visiting team is on the same side of the homestand. And RAIL made a rule this year to stop that. But North Kingstown is exempted from that rule because a cheerleader and a football player have a no contact order against each other. Now, the school did everything they can in the building to keep these two students separated, which, I mean, that field is so big. Why can't the cheerleaders can go anywhere? Why does North Kingstown have to be exempt? And from what I understand, is that there was a lawyer hired, and they went to RAIL, and the lawyer said, "This is what I want, and this is what's going on. I want an exemption from North Kingstown, because of the no contact order, so we're exempted from this rule." And RAIL, like anything else, they bent over and they said, "Okay." Which really, I would have said, no, let North Kingstown deal with this. This isn't a RAIL matter. The rule is the rule, right? All I hear from RAIL is it has to be fair for everybody. It has to be fair for everybody. But North Kingstown, respect to them, and I understand, rest in peace to, I guess, a coach in the community had passed away. So our condolences go out to that coach, you know. Yeah, the Aaron Thomas situation, absolutely. The fat testing, another guy who, that guy should be in prison. He should definitely be in prison. But North Kingstown, they should not be exempt from that rule because a cheerleader and a football player has a no contact order. And if you ask them about it, they kind of say, well, we can't talk about it. It's on a need to know basis. All you need to know is North Kingstown has an exemption. Well, what's the footage on a no contact order? Don't worry about it. So basically the league saying, don't worry about nothing. This is how it is. And from what I understand, the league didn't want to fight another legal battle. They want to go up against NK, and I'm just wondering if it was a city team, would somebody have to go? You know, would somebody have to go if it was a city team? I think if there's a rule, it should be a rule for all programs. But we're gonna talk about the North Kingstown stuff. We're gonna get back into our popular gym teacher up at Pono-Gone. It's like deja vu. I remember the athletic director. That's why he resigned, because it was coming out that and I said it before, that him allegedly and a teacher were doing the nappy dugout. We got the Westerly situation where a restorative coach, which that's just like the monitor, or the school's bringing somebody to help out with the kids. Well, the restorative coach and a student was in a relationship, and he was the first one charged under the law from 2022. So we know our against a gym teacher must have took a mental health day today, and she was like, "Yo, what is going on?" I mean, the school and the district, are doing their best to just be quiet, stay in silence from everybody, but realistically, the schools run from this stuff, and like, we always break stories over here. Like, I've been doing this for 8 years now, and a lot of stuff you look on my page, and it all true. It may not be true today, but it ends up being true. Yeah, gym teacher caught on camera. They said teachers have video, and if anybody wants to send me that video, can we keep it real? The number 5 at gmail.com. They said they have video at the dance, and everything's completely anonymous. I've never told anybody, anybody but you can send me information. You can make up an email and send it to me over there. Can we keep it real? 5 at gmail.com. We'll call it when your gym teacher's caught red-handed. I mean, high school is enough without all of this drama. And we heard yesterday that the teacher resigned. I mean, they're going to roll upon against it, knowing that they knew about this. I don't think they can hide it any longer. The principal definitely knew about this. Renee Palazzo, don't doubt that she didn't know about this. I mean, I think a lot of people may have seen this coming, but now we know that Alicia Cringe definitely traded in her whistle for a permanent vacation, man, after a relationship with a member of the football team. Mm. It seems like gym class is getting a lot more interesting, over at Pono-Gone. Oh, well, it was. It said that Cringe was known for her enthusiastic encouragement of more reps and fewer regrets. Well, she's facing serious allegations, that definitely put the new spin on team spirit. And a time when Pono-Gone has a chance to go undefeated. I think they have a really absolutely sad for the family. And what's really sad is that Pono-Gone is hiding like they didn't know anything, and we know that there was a video out there. We know that there was a video out there of the gym teacher hanging all over the student at a dance. We know that. We know that in the school, the student and the gym teacher could not be in the same area. So she was escorted out of the dance for hanging all over the student. No communication from Pono-Gone. Last I heard, they weren't even letting parents know. Parents were like, "We got to come over here, to a podcast, to find out the information." Channel 12 ain't gonna bring you what's really going on. I'll say what people think, and you know what? We've been doing this for 8 years now. You know what I mean? Not putting gossip out there, just putting the facts out there. And so there's still an investigation going on. I'm just looking for something. Oh yeah, okay. So nobody's going to be able to run from this. I don't think Palazzo and her gang and Marianne Carroll are going to be able to cover this one. What everyone knows, going to claim ignorance on this, but teachers have a video. There's a video out there of a school dance where the teacher is hanging all over the student. I was told there was a video. People close to the situation said, go out there and ask for the video. So we're asking for that video. Send the video into me, countyreal5 gmail.com. The teachers hang all over a student at a recent dance, and it had to be, as recent as last season. So this wasn't just harmless. It was concerning that other teachers might have access to race. Other teachers, noticed it and took a video of it, so it wasn't as harmless as people would think. And Pono-Gone, they knew about this. The district knew about this. Administration knew about this. This wasn't something that just popped up. It's like, oh my God, they knew about this just like 4 years ago. It was so concerning that students knew, staff knew that the gym teacher and the student couldn't even be in the same area together. The principal knew. You have an idea Palazzo knew. That witch got her hands in everything. And again, just like 4 years ago, well, probably a little longer than that, though, just like the last situation, Palazzo got her hands in everything. So we're just going to expose the truth that Pono-Gone knew all about this. And when all the receipts come out, it's going to blow the doors open again. Yeah, I got to reconnect the podcast page. Now, I mean, if you want to, I'll put the link up if anybody, if you want to come up and you want to say something, you don't have to put your camera on. You can keep your camera off. You don't need to put your name out there. Just, be respectable. And, yeah, so what I'll do, because I don't know if it's the same link, it'll be a QR code. So we'll do a new QR code, you know. call it the open link. And let's talk about, is there a double standard? Are people saying it's okay because it's a boy, but if it was a girl, okay, that QR code up on the left side of the screen. If you want to come up here and talk about the situation, what's going on, that pawn against it. Like I said, you don't have a camera on, but it's hard to believe that pawn against it is going to get because school administrations knew about this. So they can't claim ignorance. That's for sure. But yeah, man, there's a video out there of the dance that exposed a situation that left a lot of questions. That the administration could claim that they didn't know, but how are they gonna hide from this? Reports are coming out that there was a teacher seen on video getting too close to a student at a school dance, and everybody knew something was off to the tune that they had to escort the teacher out. It says that some of the teachers recorded some footage of this teacher hanging over the student. That their interaction was definitely more than friendly. And we already know that they couldn't be in the same area together. I mean? So when have you seen a student teacher? We can't be in the same area together. So the school administration is going to try to deny any knowledge that this was going on, and then bang, we're going to play the tape. Play the tape. There was a lot of people aware of this situation. I mean, Pono-Gone ain't going to be able to brush it under the rug this time. Not like a couple of years back. The evidence is out there for people to see. Now the administration got to face the music. I mean, this situation, you know, um, serious, serious concerns. Very serious concerns. So you look on online. Let me see if I have it here. You look online for who the teacher was. A lot of people are like, who is she? Who is she? So as school communities are going to look for answers, and it's clear that Pono-Gone ain't going to be able to get away from this. Seeing that there is video of a dance, teachers been saying that they've been telling administration, parents been saying, the way you know, um, the way she be hugging on students, allegedly. Some former students came up and said, "Oh, I didn't like the way that she would hold my boyfriend's hand when he would come into class. We ain't going for that. Ain't gonna hold my boyfriend's hand." Yeah, a lot of people are talking. People are gonna keep on talking at a time when Pono-Gone has a chance to go undefeated in their football program. But this question should raise concerns throughout Rhode Island, ripple effect, right? Because boundaries between and student, staff, and student. You don't think this is going on at another school right now in your area? maybe not to this degree. Maybe it starts off as being a little flirtatious. You know, this lady's poor family life, her husband. When I got the information last weekend, and they were like, oh, John DePietro is so happy he broke the story. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I really don't want to be breaking stories that's ruining people's lives. You know what? You break the story. I'd rather have the information correct. So, and Eric Rube is another one. He's another tool. Gotta brag. I'm the number one place. Well, you should be. You're backed up by a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and you're trying to come over here and say, "Oh, I'm better than the kid that does it from his basement." But at least the kid that does it from his basement has integrity, has accountability. Yeah, well, I mean, I really don't have an up to date picture, so I just looked up online, and that's basically what I came up with. At least for now, until we can get a little more into this situation, you know. But yeah, so Ponagants definitely have to face the truth now, and there are videos out there, in the teachers community over there, of the situation at the dance. Let me see what else my friend had said. The administration and teachers have a video. She was removed from the dance for hanging on him. They cannot go in the same area as him. It said that this lady knew what she was doing professionally, like she is a professional. The principal was informed, and some say the school committee as well. Maybe the Popos knew too. This is some Diddy type cover up stuff going on here. Diddy High. Ponegantza is a sick school and a sick town, and this has been going on, and administration and staff knew this was going on. But we don't want to make any noise and be embarrassed. And I've seen that before. I mean, schools they're always going to try to cover something up, until they can't cover it up any longer. Some games we have going on this week in Rhode Island High School football: Cranston West and SK, Johnston and Lincoln, East Providence and Pawtucket. It still says Tolman, Coventry and Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant's a school that you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle. As much as I don't know why people have a problem with Julio, I think Julio would have been the best for that job. He's from the area. He has no problem going into man PJs and stuff. Julio definitely, was somebody who should have got that position. He didn't even get a damn interview. That's how crazy that was. But yeah, Mount Pleasant, they're in rough shape. East Providence too, East Providence right now is sitting in a good place. We went over yesterday. We went over the tournament rankings for football. I'm just trying to just go over all this stuff quick, And here we got LaSalle, and if you look at LaSalle with 8.6, the next closest school is 6.467. I mean, nobody's even close to LaSalle. And what I've been telling people, which some people they don't pay attention yet, right here, the opponent win percentage. This number here that LaSalle has 8.900. This is your bread and butter. This is where you're gonna make your money. Right now, why I say that is all right. Now you see in week one, LaSalle played Charmondale, right? Charmondale is a super division school. So the points for that game is like 16 points. The following week, they played Boston College High School, another super division school. So now that school's win percentage is very, very high. So it's called opponent win percentage. And each week, every game, you get points based off that opponent's win percentage. And that's how, that's where some teams are really making, we'll say making their money. So right now, it's going to be the top six teams compete for a Rhode Island state championship. Listen, coaches don't even know this information. You know what I mean? Coaches don't even know this stuff, and that's a fact. They're like, I thought it was only four. Nah, man, pay attention. Wake up. Look, over here, coach. But the top six teams go for the state championship. 7, 8, 9, and 10 will compete for a Division One championship. Okay, okay. I just got last year's yearbook photo of Miss Alicia Crins, and she looks a little more mature. Let me see if I can get this uploaded. So I can get it up on the screen. But yeah, man, if anyone got that dance video, that's what's up. But the opponent win percentage is where, you're going to do good. So the top six, right? You have Cumberland in the sixth spot. Now, I don't think Cumberland's going to win another game, respectfully. I don't mean any disrespect. They got the same program over there, the same coaching. They just, adjusted, got a new head coach from the same system. You got the All American, I'm a big deal quarterback coach over there, from UMass Dartmouth. But Cumberland still got to play Salem in New Hampshire. Very, very good program. Then they got to come back home. They got to play Portsmouth, who has a quarterback that, reclassified. They have a great running back that transferred that just came back onto the field, and then they got North Kingstown. So you're remaining, and there's only 4 games left. People don't kid yourself. The season is almost over. And Central has a win against Barrington. Really, in state, they got losses to Manchester Memorial, to Milton, to NK. That NK game, couple point game. Oh, St. Ray's. I don't even see St. Ray's up there. And Central still they have Westerly High School, which I think Westerly's up 2-1 on that series. That's this weekend up in Westerly. Then they got Bishop Hendricken, and they always play Hendricken very, very well. So I think with Cumberland being in their situation, Cranston West, I don't think they're ready for the top six. You'll probably see them, you know, I mean, they got SK remaining, and who SK has been, surprising everyone hanging in there. Barrington High School. Barrington's not really doing as good as Barrington usually does, sitting at 1-3. So that's basically Division One, where everybody makes the playoffs. So right now it would actually line up with like Burrillville and Central would be in the playoffs if it was to happen, today. And In Division Two, you have SK with the top spot, followed by Westerly. And this is what I tell people again: the opponent win percentage with Westerly 6.967. This is why they're staying up there for being a 2-2 team. Pawtucket Co-op right under them in third, 3-1. With a 2.6 opponent win percentage. But Pawtucket, they beat Moses Brown, they beat Middletown and Lincoln, so that really, really put them in a good spot. West Warwick sitting in fifth. West Warwick is a team that I think come towards week 7, week 8, they're gonna be a problem. But yeah, we're gonna I'll come back later when I get some more information. I mean, there might be some stuff that already dropped. Yeah, there might be some stuff that already dropped. I just don't know about it, about this case, this situation, but we know one thing, Pono-Gone knew about it. Pono-Gone knew about it. Pono-Gone knew what was going on. Yeah, so we got Lincoln in 6, Coventry in 7. I mean, Coventry hanging in there. But what can Coventry do? Mount Pleasant. I think Coventry could beat Mount Pleasant, but who knows? Mount Pleasant might be able to, can they beat Coventry? And then Lincoln. They have Lincoln and Middletown. So we'll see how Coventry finishes the year. It's only the top 8 teams in Division 2. And we have Middletown, that's basically in that 8 spot. And then I'm sure you got one socket that wants to get up there, and they got Burrville, Pawtucket Co-op, still remaining, but I mean, they should have another team somewhere, but that's what I mean, man. Like on their schedule, it only shows they got Burrville, Pawtucket Co-op left. That's crazy. The season, it's coming to a close. 4 weeks left. We at the halfway point. We at the halfway point. It's coming to a close. Oh, that's what I was doing. But let me know what y'all think about this Pono-Gone situation. I think it's totally crazy. And, more stuff is going to more stuff is gonna come out. I'm telling you, like, we know there's a video out there of the dance situation. We know the school knew about this situation, and we know that there's possibly more kids coming forward. We knew about more potential. Let me see if I could do it this way. About more, other potential. Here we go. There's a picture of Alicia Cringe. There's a recent picture, of what she looks like. So that's our story. We're sticking to it. Oh, update. That's right. Update Karen Reed. Yo. Update in the Karen Reed situation. It comes out that Turtle Boy was recording Karen Reed's personal conversations, and a 30-minute tape got sent to Karen Reed's attorneys. Turtle Boy is all upset because Karen Reed went on Howie Carr He's like, I raised 1.5 million jail. I went to jail for you. But yeah, so there's problems going on there. I'll play the tapes. I actually have it's like 3 10-second audio clips or 4 audio clips, you know, just Karen and Aiden basically saying, Aiden was like, how'd you get $1.5 million? Like, but yeah. So update in the Karen Reed situation, is this the end? You know, can Aiden be trusted knowing that? I mean, who knows who leaked them, but we know that there was recordings. So I mean, can he be trusted going forward? Shout out to JFK. You know, JFK really exposed things. But yep, that's what it is in that section. Pono-Gone Wild. They knew about it. They knew about it. It's crazy that I'm not surprised that Renee Palazzo and them knew about what was going on, and just doing things to basically to cover it up. But appreciate y'all. Thank you. If you want to be a part of the show or you want to promote something on the podcast, hit me up. Let me know. If you got some football history, man, come on. Let's tell the story before it gets forgotten. We got so many old football stories that we need to get them recorded. So we have them going forward. But appreciate everybody, man. Shout out, all the coaches out there. Shout out everyone that kind of keeps me informed in this game and what's going on. You know,
Listen, no one's going to give you more coverage. No one's going to be at more games. No one's going to be more informed. I'm not just some guy sitting in his basement spouting off about who's winning games and who's doing what. We're real. The rebellion is real. Providence Journal coverage is going to be real this year. It's almost here, 3 days away.
clown sauce, clown sauce for that guy. But yeah, I'm trying to see what else is popping. Shout out to all the advocates out there that are doing what they have to do for the program. You know, shout out to that. Shout out to my man Bob Caradillo out there. Bob got a little upset at me last week. The story came out that Westerly Hall of Fame wouldn't guarantee that they wouldn't induct a boy identifying to be a girl. So a member resigned, and I wrote an article about it, and I try to stay firm that I don't take articles down when they're true in nature. I can't take them down for friendship. I can't take them down, especially when it's something like transgender that I stand so firmly against. If it's true, it's true. I can't take it down just to save face in my own community. When I started doing this podcast, I said we have to stand on credibility. We have to be transparent. When we post something or say something, we can't take it down. Just like the Skirka situation, we didn't take that down. But yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody. And if you're looking to move out of that district, you're looking to buy a home. Definitely home smart professionals.
Are you dreaming of the perfect home? Your dream home doesn't have to be just a dream. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, Kathy Foisey from HomeSmart Professionals Real Estate is here to make it a reality. Expertise in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, Kathy is ready to guide you every step of the way. Reach out today at 401-486-6587 or email kfoisey1@gmail.com.
Throughout the football season, every Friday night, we bring you exclusive sideline access and post-game interviews. We go straight to the head coaches, asking tough questions live with no edits. Just real, honest conversations.
We're now seeking sponsorships for our platform. Both businesses and individuals can support us through booster ads, helping to amplify our reach and impact. Your support means the world to us, and together we can continue to provide the coverage our community deserves.
We're reaching out for your help. Any small donations, even as little as the cost of a cup of coffee, can make a huge difference in keeping our platform alive and thriving. Can We Keep It Real podcast is brought to you by Beast Coast Football Factory and HomeSmart Professionals. Please consider joining our team today.
That's the bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Commission. The bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy.
Load up that queen.